Hussein, Imam Hussein. My dear brothers and sisters, I tell you, Imam Hussein is not a name, it's not a person, it's not just a personality, it's not just even history anymore. If you look deeply at it, and we have a lot of Arabs in the room, if I give you an Arab metaphor, do you know real musk or mist? The real one, the pure original one, the one that's actually formed in the belly, in the stomach of a deer. It has a very defining characteristic. The defining characteristic is the more you use it, the more you rub it on skin, the more fragrant it becomes. Hussein is that for the human intellect. For the human mind, that is the meaning of Hussein. The more you think on him, the more you recite his name, the more you understand him, the more you read on him, the sharper your mind becomes, the sharper your intellect becomes. And by God, I say that the more you see in Hussein, the more you will fall in love with Hussein. What did Hussein leave for us? Not just one thought, not just one incident, not just one particular journey of Karbala, or not just one day of Ashura. Hussein left for humanity an immortal legacy of intellect, of continuous growth of the mind. Prophet Muhammad came for the Muslims. Prophet Muhammad came for Islam. And Imam al-Hussein gave for humanity. Not just for Muslims, not just for Islam, but the right way of life. Three things that I would like to talk about today. Hopefully my time permitting, I'll talk about all three. Number one is a very simple word we use in every day of our life. It's called faith. What exactly is the meaning of faith? I'll relate with you something that we read in quotes and something that we read in stories. It's a very English or a Western made story. Remember, it's a story of a man. He goes up, he climbs on a mountain, and while he's a mountain climber, while he's climbing a mountain, he slips. He falls down and he's hanging by a rope or a tree. And when he looks down, there is nothing below him. He's between two mountains. He can see there's absolutely nothing below him. And this man, we don't know whether he's a believer or not believer. He believes in Allah, he believes in God, he believes in anything or not. This is his last resort. He knows he's going to die, so he just prays. He has nothing to do. There's nobody around him. So he just prays and says that God or whoever is there in the skies, please help me. Do something for me. Okay? And he gets a voice saying, leave what you're holding. The voice says, leave what you're holding. He looks down. He calculates the situation. There is nothing below him. He knows he's between two mountains. If he leaves, it's certain death, for sure. And he says, he doesn't leave. We have all heard this story. Later on, he's frozen. After 2-3 days, he's found by some people. He's frozen, hanging to that thing. And just 1 feet below him was the ground. So basically what God asked him to do was a leap of faith, correct? You leap on faith. That if he says, or if I hear the voice from God, I just leave. Even I can't see down. This happens in everyday life for us. Now take this same story and put it to Karbala. What was going to happen after Karbala? Was the world going to change? Was all the evil going to go away? There was no change that was going to happen. There was cruelty then. There is cruelty now in different forms. There was bad people then. There were bad people all around the world today in different forms. Why did Imam Hussein take the leap of faith? And did he take the leap of faith? He took a blind leap of faith because he believed in Allah's will, in Allah's light, in Allah's way more than his own. People at various times towards the journey in Karbala and even in Karbala, even on the day of Ashura, even people from the opposing army came and gave guidance to the Imam, saying many times that don't do this, don't take this way. We can still offer you peace. We can still offer you this. But the Imam never took any offers. Hussein was not a person who would take offers. Hussein was not a person who lived in chance. Hussein was not a person who believed in having choices. His choice was one: Allah. That is the meaning, the essence of leap of faith. We have many chances to take the leap of faith. Do we take the leap of faith in our life? And if we do, we should have a complete blind faith in the will of Allah, in the good that Allah proposes for us. If you pay attention, you will come to what I want to discuss in my second point, that's preparation. My dear friends, as Toastmasters, as normal humans who do a lot of things in our life, we work, we have families, we have homes, we have parents, we have children, we have brothers and sisters. We all know that there's one thing that's very important in our life: preparation. We prepare. For whatever we do, we prepare. Even when we get up in the morning, we prepare for a day. Whether it's a work day, we prepare ourselves mentally for it. If it's a Friday and you're going on a picnic with your family, you prepare for that as well, right? It's enjoyment, but you prepare for it. You prepare for everything. Now, if you want to see what's the result going to be of something, see the preparation. As good the preparation, so will be the result. Now let's go back to Karbala. Imam Hussein was sent an invitation, or as mentioned in earlier speeches, letters, invites to come. What was that invitation? That invitation was just an envelope. Inside the envelope, the letter was slaughter. The letter was butchery. We know this today, after thousands of years of Karbala happening, and we see it in the background. The Imam knew it before it happened, because that's what he is. The Imam is, as we say, Masumi. So he had foresight. What we see behind, he can see forward, much more than we can even imagine. The Imam knew this. Now when the Imam knew this, who goes to war with a family?
No one.
When someone knows that he's going to war, when someone knows that there's going to be slaughter, there's going to be butchery, you don't prepare with family. So what was Imam's preparation? Let me tell you, the army of Yazid, or those scoundrels, those low people, they thought they were going to war. The Imam was never going for war. The Imam was going for victory. The Imam was going to win. Win what? Win the will of Allah. Win the command of Allah. Win us human equal rights until the end of time. Win us the rights to breathe. See, notice this. When you prepare for war, you sharpen your sword. You spend all night sharpening your sword. In any culture, in any way. But when you prepare for victory that's offered by Allah and the Quran and the Prophet, you take the Zulfikar and put it back in its sheath. Because when Allah is offering victory, you don't need the Zulfikar to work. That is what the Imam was preparing for. That is why the family of the Imam traveled with him. It was for a journey beyond. It was for a journey for each and every one of us to sit today in this room and decide and speak and do what we like to do with our lives. Number 3, who came from who? We all know the very, very well repeated and full of essence, full of knowledge saying, Husaynu minni wa ana min al-Husayn. The Prophet said this, that Hussein comes from me and I come from Hussein. See, the Prophet never uttered a single word, a single syllabus that did not have thousands of meanings. This is also one of them. In one of the most important and beautiful meanings that it has, I'm talking to you in practical logic scenario. I'm not talking to you only in faith. Faith we all have, we all share, and it's visible here. But I'm talking to you in practical scenario. What's the meaning of Hussein comes from me and I come from Hussein? When Imam Hussein was a small child and he was at the Prophet's house one afternoon, and a man came, and obviously everybody after prayers used to come, meet the Prophet, greet the Prophet, ask Prophet to pray for them. it was a custom in the day. It was something that we would have done today as well, had we been blessed by that. So the man comes to the Prophet's house and says, Prophet Muhammad, I ask you to pray for me for children. Please pray that I have children. So the Prophet raises his hands in prayer and intends to pray for that person, that you have children, and he gets a message from the Archangel Jibreel that do not raise your hands in prayers. God has not destined children for this person. It's not there in his destiny. So it's advisable you do not pray. So Prophet keeps his hand down again, and there is a sadness on the Prophet's face. There's a certain sadness. Imam Hussein just walks in there, comes around, looks at the Prophet and says, what's making you sad, my grandfather? How come there's sadness on your face? What happened? So Prophet Muhammad tells him that this is what's happened, and he's come to me with expectations, with hopes, and I can't do it. Imam Hussein looks at the person, looks at Prophet Muhammad and says, I give you one. So Prophet Muhammad says that, my child, I understand what you feel, I understand what you mean, but we can't do it. We can't say anything against the will of Allah. It's destiny. It's Allah's will. Imam Hussein looks at the person and says, I give you two. Prophet Muhammad says, my child, please don't. Imam Hussein says, I give you three. I give you 4, 5, 6, 7. Prophet Muhammad says, Imam Hussein, don't do this, my child. We can't. And once again, the Archangel Jibreel comes and says, there was no child in this man's destiny, but it came from Hussein's lips. And nothing means more to Allah than Hussein. Nothing means more to Allah than what Hussein has said. Against his destiny, this man has 7 children. Very beautiful incident. Something that warms our hearts, wets our eyes, feels into our minds, goes into our nerves. What's the real essence? See, Allah promises in the Quran that Prophet Muhammad is a rahmah on this world. Prophet Muhammad is a rahmah on us. That man's destiny was harsh because of whatever the reason. Prophet Muhammad was supposed to be the rahmah, but Allah's destiny, Allah's will is there. So Prophet Muhammad does not raise his hand in prayers. Hussein acts as the rahmah of Prophet Muhammad on the world. Hussein comes from the Prophet. And in Karbala, if you see, Hussein laid his head down for what? To protect the Prophet, to protect Islam, to protect Quran. Even today, and it's a fact that all of us agree, the reason why we pray the Quran, the reason why we discuss the Prophet, the reason why we pray our salah, the reason why the name of Allah is upheld is because Imam al-Hussein laid his head down. So Islam was coming from Prophet Muhammad. The promised Prophet, Prophet Muhammad, was coming from Hussein. Wa ana min al-Hussein. He comes from Hussein. This is what I believe. A clear logic, a clear understanding, and absolutely 2 + 2 is equal to 4 of Karbala. Master Said.
Wow.